Hello, 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 and welcome for the long-awaited Chalkcast number 41. I know that starting soon screen might have been a little long today, but we have a very special episode. We got Ferra, the Airbus here, and I heard he's actually ready for takeoff by chance.
He's almost been cleared. Also, welcome to all of our Patreon supporters. We are so many episodes, so many bonus episodes deep in the Patreon right now. So if you are interested in seeing more Chalkcast content, except from above the free episode, we are going to continue to record every single week. Check out the Patreon, or check out the Chalkcast Patreon, patreon.com/Chalkedcast. CJ, who have we got here today? An old friend of yours?
Oh, this is very special, obviously, to have Ferra here. Now, obviously, he is the vitality coach, which is, but it's only part of the reason why we've got him on the show. And a lot of people, a lot of the Zoomers would only see him as the vitality coach and would not know the history of the man, the myth. A lot of people saying the Airbus that was affectionately coined. We'll say affectionately. But Ferra, firstly, welcome on the show. And secondly, you go back a long way in Rocket League history, and I mean all the way back to season, I want to say 2, 3.
Yeah, 3. That's 3. 3 with the leftovers. Yeah.
Give us a little bit of your backstory then about your Rocket League career.
I mean, I've played the game ever since it came out in 2015, right? And I started getting good pretty quickly, and I competed as soon as season 1 actually, and I qualified in season 3 with that team called the Leftovers with Snasky and Siki, which was a funny story as well, but that's for another time, I guess. We did make a deep run, and then I got booted from that team, and made my own team that became PSG Sports, and afterwards became Reciprocity, then Oxygen Esports, then Solary, and then I retired.
Were you with Chaussette the whole time? Sorry, just to jump in. Were you with Chaussette from the moment that you joined till you retired?
Yeah, between season 4 and season X with Chaussette.
That's
and
incredible.
We switched from Bruy to Fruity to Austral, and that was it.
Now
you won some lands along the way. Don't
I
forget
did.
that.
I did win a couple lands.
A couple lands. Yeah.
DreamHack Valencia, Gnarly.
No, Gnarly. They won DreamHack Leipzig.
Gnarly.
Actually, Rizzo, you might remember that one. I think.
Yeah.
It wasn't Leipzig, was it? You won
Yes. Leipzig 2018 in Game 7 overtime against this man.
Against who?
That's what it was.
Because it looked like you pointed to CJ there. I just want to make sure.
Okay, this guy.
Yeah, okay. I just want to make sure we're on the same page there. Okay. The incident.
Yeah, right at the start though, like I know you're so humble. You went through your career in about 10 seconds there, but as you said, you're winning lands and things. I want to go right to the beginning though, because when you first came on the scene as Ferra, were you known as the first female Rocket League player?
Yeah.
What happened there? People thought that you were
there's a lot of stories around me. I don't know why. Like every season there was something else, something new. Like when I came, when I qualified the first time, I don't know, for some reason, Gibbs said on stream, and so with this team, the Leftovers, we have the first girl ever in the RFCS with Ferra for no reason. And then, but the funny thing is, like back then, I had like 70 followers on Twitter, and as soon as I said that, I jumped to like 500 or something. I don't remember, but that was like a crazy jump. And I was like, and then I was getting mentions of like, hey girl, hey, okay, all right. Well, but then it turns out, Cloud Fuel, who was managing the LCS back then, messaged Gibbs with like an info he got for somewhere that apparently I was a girl, and that's where he got it from. So,
that is amazing.
That's how it happened.
The girl arc. You scored a very famous goal as well. Some people might have heard. In fact, wasn't it Ebai who was yelling your name? Ebai, who is now like mainstream famous Ebai, was yelling Ferra as it's faked out. I think Garizi Meister just to score a banger of a goal. What amazing!
Yeah, that was actually my first day in LCS as well. So that was funny. Lots of stuff happened that day. That's funny.
That's amazing.
That's incredible. I love you jumped up in followers. Everyone's like, "Wow, this is crazy." I don't know where Gibbs got that from, where he got the information, but clearly it was very wrong. Now, Farrah, we first met season 4 World Championships. I remember that. You beat me 3-0 as well. We played each other. Do you remember that series?
Barely. Yeah, I think we did feel like it was gonna be a free win because that was the first.
Well, it was pretty quick, so it's hard to remember.
Oh, no.
There were a lot of goals. Like the series was pretty messy. I remember. I think that was in Washington, right? Yeah.
Very
so
messy.
yeah, but yeah, that was a weird one because yeah, we really expected to win this one, and then for some reason we came out of it like a bit tilted because we didn't play good. So that was
You didn't 3-0 them hard enough.
no, but
so
like the
you
thing
were
is, like
tilted.
back then, I feel like OC was not as consistent as they are now.
Actually, the other OCE team.
Like,
So obviously
that was-
CJ's
They
team,
beat NRG, didn't they?
CJ's team is obviously, in Ferra's opinion, super free. But the other OCE team,
True.
they beat Lethamer's team the season before,
Yeah.
and they beat NRG that same weekend. So it was just a one-team region, I guess, at the time before CJ later on
Stepped
leveled
a
up.
little bit.
Yeah, I think it took. I mean, I did end up losing to OC at some point. I think it was in season 6 where we got reverse swept in Vegas. But it took a while before OC could actually take series like consistently against big teams. I think it took a couple of years, I think. And nowadays, like, it can happen, and it does all the time, every major, I think.
But anyway, enough about us. Enough about me. Enough about us. It's all about you. As you said, Matty season 4, and you're such a charming young individual, and I think that plays a part into the Airbus as well, because I just feel like this may we have to obviously get this out of the way as well. The whole Airbus situation. Now, some people don't know what this whole thing is about. It all started in Beyond the Summit, which was a beautiful event. It was a bit of fun, I guess, that event. And I guess you were someone that was known, Ferra, as, I guess, having less flair than other players. You were more about the
less
position.
air roll, maybe.
A little bit less.
Yeah, less air roll.
Slightly,
Would you agree
yes.
with that?
The nicest way to say it.
Yes.
Less
You were
flair.
efficient.
If you were efficient, you got the job done.
Yeah. Yeah, let's put it that way. I wasn't zen back then, to be fair.
No, not that.
Oh wait,
Yeah,
I wasn't
not,
him.
not
I
even
wasn't
close.
him.
No.
You weren't Zen, but you're a bit more the role player, the positioning, the efficiency, as we said, and obviously the whole Beyond the Summit thing, which you just came to light that there is an 18-minute montage of just us talking about Airbus, which is actually it's quite mean. Now I'm thinking about it, the fact that there's 18 minutes. I didn't realize that there's that much.
But the thing is, I remember you guys asked me, but so the event, like the Beyond the Summit event, was like probably the most fun I had in a Rocket League event, and we made the finals. We lost to Energy in the finals. And I remember you guys asked me on the coach thingy, like, is it fine? The thing is, you were having so much fun, and people were having so much fun. I had no choice than to be, going along with it, because otherwise I would be thinking it's pretty lame. But I would say that I knew, it was in good fun because I had, good performances and stuff like that, and the team was doing well, and I was fine. But like, I knew that as soon as the team performance was gonna be, dropping, I would get heavily criticized, and it would come back to bite me eventually. So that was I knew it was gonna be. I knew the tricky situation was gonna happen at some point, but whatever.
Do you think
things
it did?
happen?
Do you think it did come back to bite you eventually? Because you outlasted the
It hurt your
Airbus meme
stocks, maybe.
for a long time, I think.
I mean, I do feel. I mean, come on. I was definitely like not the most mechanical player, but like when other players like Chilbo and Kidup were like at the top of Rocket League back then, I was not like on a different level than them, right? I was they were playing the same kind of way, right? So
Yeah.
but the thing is, like, because of the meme, people were like treating me a very specific kind of way. Like every time I would score a goal, like I swear, after like a couple, not couple months, like a year or two, like people would still like remember this meme, and then every time I would score like a simple double tap, like there would be a clip on Reddit, like Pharaoh scores a double tap, and they're like, all right.
That actually,
I mean,
it sounds extremely similar to me, except I just didn't score the double tap. But like,
It's honestly, I feel like all three of us in the same situation because when I score an open net, it's like, oh my god, how has he done that? He's finally scored an open net.
no, but
So
like
it
yeah,
is-
so
it's
so
full on.
yeah, but so yeah, it felt like a lot of attention to the every single move I made. And that was like at some point there were like compilations of me like missing moves and like with funny music and stuff. That can
Oh,
happen,
for
right?
goodness
It's all fun and games, but I feel like a big part of it was because of the Airbus thing. Like it brought light to me being not really flashy, and yeah, I knew it would like be tricky to handle. So that was fine.
You handled it really well because not only did this man realize, there's no point going against this. I have to just run with it because that's like when, if you ever get a nickname and you act annoyed at it for 0.5 seconds, it's the only thing you're ever going to hear for the rest of your life. You have to you have to say this is fine. Yep, that is who I am. You just have to run with it. So the Airbus nickname, it stuck with you. Not only that though, he branded it. Ferra to this day is making money from the Airbus meme. His creator code
Yeah.
is and always has been Airbus. So if
It
you
is
are going to
true. Make sure
make
you
a
use it.
purchase in the in-game Rocket League store, be sure to use the creator code Airbus when you make a purchase. And
Sure to
Ferra
use
will
it,
thank
yeah.
you.
No, but like yeah. So as I was playing, I think it was like somewhat something that I saw like as probably inconvenient because of the way people looked at me. But nowadays it's good fun and good memories. And the 18-minute video is something that sometimes like recently I met a guy and we've become really close, and he found the video before even I show him. Like I showed it to him. Like he was like, "Dude, I found this video. Like, what the fuck is going on?"
He said,
I
"Oh,
went,
I've seen
okay,
this one."
let me tell you about it, and let me tell you why I'm pissed about it.
It's an 18-minute. It's literally just an 18-minute and 28-second video of CJ and I like laughing at the Airbus reference
And not just
because of
you,
one
not just
time.
you. It's like there
Oh,
was
it's
like
everyone
Linus as
probably.
well. Like, yeah, everyone.
Oh yeah, a lot
Linus
was
and
there. Oh no,
So
it was a
let's
bad
just say,
time.
like, there were some negatives, there were some positives to the Airbus, but look, I think that when looking back now, and you're obviously now you're coaching, looking back on your playing career, I feel like it helped just like put a stamp on, I guess, your legacy in terms of like the esport. Would you agree with that? Like, I think type one in chat if you maybe weren't as, I don't want to say as fond of Ferra, but didn't know as much of Ferra, but now like you love the Airbus, you love it, like that has helped,
And
I guess, you put him
also,
on the map.
on top of that, now you've got your, coaching career is in full flight, no pun intended, and you have the whiteboard on show. If anyone watched RLCS
oh
last
yeah,
weekend, you would have
right.
seen the whiteboard. Can we please get, maybe some artist could help you out with it, but get a really detailed drawing of an Airbus, and then just when it cuts to like the pre-game and you're like pointing at the whiteboard, you're trying to convince Zen, yeah, look at this. This is why we want you to take off. And no one will know. No one, everybody will be like, why is he drawing a plane? But we'll know. We'll know what he's doing. He's trying to get Zen to stop air rolling. It's as simple as that. I wish I could find the original clip. We're gonna need to show it in a future episode because I've been looking for it. We've only found the 18-minute video of us making references to the original clip and not actually the original clip
Look.
itself. Chat, if you find it, let us know.
Regardless of that, I think everything happens for a reason. Obviously, that was part of your life, part of your career, the playing part of things, the Airbus, that things like that. Obviously, nowadays we laugh about it, we think about it affectionately, but it has led Ferra to where you are today into coaching. So we're gonna have to start with, how did you get into coaching? And it feels like this is your thing. I was looking at the camera. You've got the whiteboard up. You've got thousands of words on there. Like, this is what you're made to do. So how did you get into it?
I wouldn't say it's something. I would say it's like my destiny, but yeah, yeah. Like
So
people,
humble.
my whole career, especially towards the end of it, were like calling me to do coaching for some reason. Um, um, let's just say when I stopped playing, I took a long break. I wanted to get away from the game, and to reflect on what I did and what I wanted to do next. It took a long time, and I wasn't really looking to do coaching at first, despite a lot of different orgs interest. at the time. So I took my time, and I evaluated what I could do if I wanted to go back to my previous career, or if I wanted to do something else. And it took a while, but ultimately, 9 months after I stopped playing, I mean, it was a bit before that, but like Kedop reached out and started talking to me about potentially, coaching the team, and I started getting in touch with the Vitality guys. And from there on, I was like actually getting interested into doing it, because I would say I would not have been interested into doing it for like any team, but the org, the prestige it has in Rocket League, and the players we had back then, I felt like it was a good fit for me. And yeah, I just wanted to try my hand at it, because I knew it's something I could do. I've always been, um, really analytical as a player. I always, like to analyze game. As game player, I was, like to, especially when I was leading the team, for more than 4 years, which shows that I always, uh, try to organize everything, try to analyze everything, try to tell the other two to what I think they should do, and I feel like it was always somewhat productive, and yeah, we went pretty far with it. So yeah, I feel like I had a lot of qualities that could be applied to coaching, and I think that's what Vitality saw as well, and here we are today.
Was the team when you started? It was K-Dop Alpha Fairy Peak still, if I recall.
Technically yes, but actually Ferry Peak was already benched, and we were in the process
Benched.
of replacing him. And I arrived right at the time where there were like the last tryouts of
Okay.
Radozin and some other players. So
Hmm.
So
That was the
with
start. That's not so long ago. Yeah.
so with your coaching, obviously, when you got into it, how much of it is you applying, I guess, theories or things from your playing career versus, I guess, like seeing the team and working with what you've got in the team? Like, have you had certain ideas on how to play the game, or is it more getting the best or getting the most out of the players that you have on that team?
no, I don't. I mean, the game evolves, right? And
Mm.
I think like players nowadays, they actually know the game themselves. They just I think it's more about like getting them to talk to each other. I mean, I still have my own mind, and I have my own eyes, and I can see stuff that sometimes they don't. And especially I had qualities as a player that I still nowadays I feel like a lot of players are missing out on. And so I can like fill the gaps that some of the new guys, they practice on a lot of flashy stuff, the mechanics, then, but that was obviously not what I was good at. But there is a lot of stuff that I can help them on in terms of like decision making, and boost management, and uh, a bunch of stuff that I feel like I can actually help them with. So that's what we do. So we do every week. We do a lot of and we do 3 hours of replay reviews with everyone, and we try to apply what we find together pretty much every practice, every scrim. So yeah, it's more like a common work, right? So I have my ideas, but like it's more on the player to realize, okay, is this can this be can this be applied or not?
Does being a
So,
former pro help with that, do you think?
Yeah,
mm,
yeah. I think there was this whole debate on Twitter not too long ago. I don't think it's necessary for a coach to be a former pro, but I feel like being a former pro helps with a couple of things. Firstly, being respected and being listened to, especially when the guys they know you, and they respect your achievements and stuff, and they know you've been here before, and you've played, like I've played on the world stage like 5 times. I've won lands. I've done stuff, right? So when it's new guys, especially like Rado or Zen, they actually listen a lot, because they know I have a lot of experience. So it helps to get my point across. But it's not really necessary. I don't think it's necessary. It's not necessary if the the players are I don't know, smart, and they're like are humble about it. But it does help. It does help, I feel like.
So you mentioned there you kind of signed on as coach when Radosin was acquired. Now, after that, the next step for Vitality was to pick up Sizen as well, but also to sign Zen before he was available to play. 2 splits before he was available to play. I remember like 6 months
Unheard
ago we
of.
would have discussed this. We talked about 4-man roster. Is this going to be a good idea? I remember there was a lot of criticism, from the whole Rocket League community about how this wasn't going to work and how the pressure on the players playing would be too great that, the fact that one of them is probably being benched for Zen would hinder their performance. And by the time Zen can play, Vitality would be so chalked that it wouldn't even be any point. It would be like, oh, well, I guess we'll play 1 split and we're not making Worlds. But that's not what happened. We'll talk a little bit more about the winner split. But 4-man roster, what was your view on that? How did that pan out?
I mean, I don't know. I think people were really hypocritical about it because players, and as a player, if you play on a team, every split you can be benched. That's the reality of it. If you don't perform, if you don't have the results, you have the possibility of getting benched. Last season, we saw that even the first scene in Europe, BDS made a roster move for the spring split. Like, no one is safe technically. So what we did was just being even more transparent than other teams, being like, well, we're getting this guy, which was then. Back then, he was obviously not as hyped up as he is now, but he still was considered like one of the biggest talent that could probably come into the scene. So it was still a risk, but the idea behind it was like we struggled with how do we say, with the transfer season when I arrived. We struggled in the summer actually a lot. The reasons behind it were because either the players we were trying to get were not attracted by the current roster. They were, we had no point. We had like something was not good. And the thing is, as the season goes on, as a team, if you struggle, like if you don't have points, say you're in the BDS situation, it gets really, really hard to get players. Rice took a risk to get with them, right? But they're pretty lucky he was willing to do that because on a lot of particular, on a lot of other instances, they would have been stuck with the same roster the whole season. And that's pretty much almost what happened to Vitality last year. And, it's tricky. So the idea behind getting Zen at the beginning of the season was, we want options. We want to have an option at the end of the season. We want to have, a good roster starting the season, and then depending on how it goes, and depending on how Zen evolves on the side, we'll see what happens. And maybe the player will have this idea behind their head, but like realistically, like what's the difference between knowing you have a guy on the bench waiting maybe to replace you, or like having no one but your org looking at your results and say, oh, it's not good enough, we'll get someone else. It's pretty much this. To me, it's the same, and I feel like the players felt the same as well. The difficult part was explaining this to the community, who was treating it as like something crazy and unheard of, despite it being pretty common in other esports.
I think you kind of like you mentioned it a little bit, like you kind of shot yourself in the foot by just trying to be a little bit more transparent about it, because like you had mentioned, like if you just kind of didn't say anything, like people wouldn't have even noticed, which I guess kind of goes into like if you a lot of players, a lot of pros, coaches, whatever, they just like don't say anything. They just don't approach interviews, stuff like that, because everything they do say a lot of times, can get like ridiculed. But besides that, talk to me about the winter major. So you guys had I would say a pretty solid performance at the winter major with Sazen. You guys got top 8. I mean, how did that like end up for you guys? Because obviously you knew Zen was kind of sitting on the sidelines, kind of waiting, but you guys just got a
Yeah.
pretty decent performance there.
Yeah, I mean, with everything, I mean, I feel like nowadays, I mean, with the way the season is built, I feel like you need to take each split kind of as like a mini season, as a player. So you have, because okay, so you remember like the old LCS format, right? Where you had the whole league and
Yeah.
you would play one season with the same roster and you get 2 worlds. That
And the
was it.
seasons
No
were like
roster mode.
5 weeks long.
Yeah, 5 weeks, but technically it's like half a year because there is like 2 seasons
Massive
a year.
gap, yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, it's like it's you just go through the whole season and the worlds with like one roster. So I feel like this is pretty much similar to one split, right? It's like you go 3 months with like one big tournament at the end, and that was it. And that's the focus we try to put on. It's like, listen, guys, doesn't matter what we want to do next. Let's focus on this specific split. And that's what we did for the first split. Well, a lot of difficulties came because we didn't qualify
like
for
being
the
eliminated.
yeah, but
First
not
event,
not
wasn't
qualifying
ideal.
for that. That was pretty tricky. So obviously not making major because of that. And then the second split was on the same basis. It's like, let's treat it as one split, and we want to do as good as possible on the major, and we will see what happens after. And that's what we try to tell the players. That's how the player try to think as well. Try to forget as much as possible about what could happen next, because I mean, in Rocket League, the important moment is now. Like, you have a tournament to play, you just play it as much as best as you can.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. We placed top 8. I feel like we could have done better. If you look at the Team Liquid series, it's pretty much 50-50. Lots of it came down to one overtime, one goal, and one crazy lucky goal from
Oh
Atto
my
with the
goodness,
bump
yeah.
into whatever about that. So yeah, but it happens. And overall, if you look at the whole split, I feel like that's our place, right? Top 8 in the world is pretty deserved. We didn't really deserve to be higher. We didn't really deserve to be lower. I feel like that's our place. That was our place. So we were pretty happy about that. But obviously we knew afterwards that then even at the beginning of the season, it was already pretty good, but he improved so much throughout the season that was not even a possibility for us to leave him out of the side, and we had to bring him in and to make something out of it, because we could have done like great things with the former roster, but we can do like even greater things with Zen, I feel like.
Yeah. So you knew, obviously, Zen's coming in regardless. Like, even if you guys had won every single event, you'd won, won both majors. Like, he's coming in regardless. So,
I wouldn't
would you
say
say?
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. Like, if we
Okay.
dominated the season, that would have been a real tricky question. That would have been a real tricky question.
Yeah.
If you dominated the season and you're the best team in the world, you're taking a big risk. But that was not our case, right? We missed one regional. We didn't qualify for the first major. We struggled online. Like, we made one finals, but then we had 2 top 8 placings. We were not at the top. Like, in Europe, we were like between 3, 4, 5, which is good. But I mean, if we want to win worlds at the end of the season, it's a bit far. It's reachable, but it's difficult. And bringing in then in this specific situation was a no-brainer, to be honest.
I know you said.
You're saying that there was like a chance that Zen would have to continue being sub, basically, if the team's dominating.
I don't know. I don't know what would have happened. Like, it's not the world.
But it
we
wasn't
live in.
decided, I guess, is what I'm saying. It was like, let's see what happens. Was kind of the mentality.
It was always the let's see what happens, and it's and that's what I said also, like in a few interviews, like following the decision. It's like the decision was never, it was not because we got Sazen the latest that he was going to be the one being replaced. Like, we evaluated the situation throughout the season. We evaluated, we thought a lot about it, and after the major, we just felt it was the right choice to do the right call, to replace Says and Bison.
I know
And not
you
someone
might.
else.
You might not have heard my theory crafting on who was going to get replaced, but do you know that Sai in Size and Sai means like a dagger, and Zen, so like as in he's going to get stabbed in the back by Zen. Did you think that there was a bit to that or not?
Yeah, maybe.
There you go.
Maybe.
I
Also,
cannot
obviously,
believe this. Vitality are going to be like on speed dial to Ferra right now. Like hang up, stop. Don't answer any more of
there we go.
CJ's
We can lock
questions.
that in. We can lock that in, Lazy. He's like, please get off the call. He knows. Ferra, you said that you were focusing split by split. Like this split, we want to do the best we could, but also, I feel like you're also waiting for Zen. In sort of a, as you said, whatever you do with the previous roster, Zen can amplify it, you felt. So was it also for you as a coach about building like a system, building like a foundation, the building blocks, so when Zen does come in, the team's ready to go, like he can slot in, they've already got a great routine, whether that's screams, whether it's, structure on the pitch. Was it sort of about that as well, or just dealing with the team you've got and then doing something different with Zen once he comes in?
I'd say neither. Like it would have been the same with or without Zen. It's like something we've tried to build, for the past year, and everything we've done with the team, whether it was with K-Dop when I arrived, and then with Season, and then now with Zen. It's like we're trying to, put as many routines as we can. So whether it's like scrim scheduling, like replay reviews, the whiteboard thingy before RCS, and a lot of other stuff you don't see. We have a lot of stuff that we brought throughout the years and that we've built with the previous roster and the previous iterations of it, and that helped because like when Zen arrived, everything was already pretty much already, it was already a thing, and Alpha and Rado were already used to it, so he just had to adapt to it, and that was fine, right? But the idea in mind was not to get the team ready for him. No, the idea in mind was always to be as good as we can all the time, and whether it's with Zen or without him.
Have you thought as well, Sizen's still sub for Vitality, you're watching own goals from Radosin this weekend and thinking, maybe Sizen and Zen would be a good combination. I'm joking. Radosin's actually playing really well for anyone who's not been keeping up with Vitality's performances. He's been unbelievable, in fact, but yeah, what are your
What happened on the
thoughts
weekend? I want to ask that. Radosin not only scoring own goals, but then he was doubling down and then trying to score more. It wasn't just the own goals that he scored, but the almost own goals on, was it Neo Tokyo? He hit the post from
slung one into the post. Nobody saw it coming. It was undefendable.
Yeah,
nowhere.
That was funny. I will add one thing because I feel like a lot of people misinterpreted. You guys like to read body language and stuff like that, and I know Rado was putting, and we didn't celebrate a lot after the win, and he was putting a lot of his hands in his head. Thing is, on the last day, and that's because of me, I had to arrive to the bootcamp very late because I was ill earlier, so we tried to minimize contact, and I had to put a mask for pretty much the whole week, and I didn't sleep at the hotel with the players and everything. We tried to minimize contamination, but I needed to be there, and I think Rado and Zen, the both of them, got sick for the last day, so Rado and Zen were actually slightly pretty ill, especially for the Sunday, and I think that got to them, especially with fatigue and stuff, and like the series was getting weird towards the end. Like I think the Neo Toko game is the worst game I've ever watched as a coach. Like That was so bad.
That was me so nervous.
So bad. And we were nervous. It's just like players were tired, and
Fatigue,
Carmen was tired as well because they had to run through the
They played
whole
so much, yeah. 4 series
lower
in a
bracket.
row.
So I think after so many overtimes and so many tense games, yeah, this game was just
everyone was
fiesta.
whiffing. Yeah.
So like from an outside perspective, that was that was not good, but we won. So
You won.
That's what matters. Yeah.
Okay, to rewind a little bit, you said earlier that, you know, with Zen's rapid improvement or improvement, it was a no-brainer. You had to add him to the roster. What were you guys really looking for from Zen? Because obviously he couldn't play RLCS. So what were you looking at to see where is he improving? How is his level coming into this final split of the season?
I mean, I think the like the 1v1 show match has helped, but you know, overall he was playing a lot with Rado, was playing a lot with Alpha, like he was playing, you know, duos all the time. You know, I could see him on streams all the time, like, and I could see clips of him all the time. So it was not, you know, it was not difficult to see to either see him play or like monitor him. And if I needed something from him, I would just, you know, tell him. Even though I tried to, you know, keep him out of the loop as much as possible because I knew he was grinding hard and training hard, you know, before he joined. So I didn't need to, you know, add too much into it. If he wasn't doing much and just waiting for RCS to come, that would have been a different story. But he just stopped the game and he just kept playing. He just kept improving, and you know, the whole 1v1 string was just, you know, the icing on the cake. And you were like, okay, he can do that as well. And I was like, oh, all right, well, we might have someone much better than we actually we thought it was really good. It might be really good.
That's so crazy to think that you guys are like, oh, we've got this like ace up our sleeve. Like, wait a minute, it's actually like 4 aces. We got 4 aces up our sleeve. We've got all the aces. What is this? Okay, we've got a real winner here. I didn't understand it either. I've never seen anything like it. I can't believe you learned 1v1 so fast and just dominated. It was something I've never seen before. So yeah, it was very hype from a viewer as well, gotta say. But like, what about we want to talk about the spring split success. You guys won 2 events in a row as a whole coming into this split. Did you have any idea that that was a possibility to win 2 in a row, qualify for LAN already?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, there you go.
Look at this guy.
No, honestly, very quickly, in practice, we felt something. And we tried to keep it as
when you say felt something, was it like, whoa, this is weird, this is like this is different? Like what was the feeling?
Yeah, not genuinely. Like I feel like all right. Do I say I don't know. I don't want to get
Don't say the practice secrets, that's for sure.
No, it's not about like, it's just like we could feel we were really good and the players were getting really confident with each other, and there were like this like natural synergy between them, and we tried to keep it as, you know, quiet as possible, and we tried to, you know, do our own thing. We played the online tournaments and we tried to be like, and you know, even with each other, we're like, okay, so we do good in scrims, okay, that's one thing. And you're like, okay, we do this tournament, but it's not RFCS, but let's try to win it. And then we win it, and we're like, okay, but it's not RFCS. Maybe that doesn't mean that much. And you know, everyone was saying that, right? Can he do it in RLCS? Can he do it? Yeah, it's always the next thing.
Can he do it in threes? Can he do it in RLCS?
Can he do it at the major? Yeah, wait for the major.
Can he do it at Worlds?
But if, in fact, like, we knew from pretty much, you know, the first week that we were able to play really good. The thing is, were we able to convert it, you know, in tournament? That's always the question. Because I've been in teams where we dominate scrims and we don't do really good in tournaments, so that's hard. But I guess, you know, the experience came in, and we found like genuine good stuff to replicate, and we still have tricks we haven't used. We still have stuff we haven't showed. Like, we have a big margin to improvement, which leads me to say, yeah, like, I'm not surprised we won the 2 regionals. Yes and no. It's like I'm surprised because it's hard. It's so hard to do, but it's like everything is coming to fruition, and you're like, okay,
Yeah.
well, that's as intended, and you're like, okay, well, I mean, yeah, it's good. We kind of expected that, but yeah, maybe not as good. But yeah, I don't know how to say it. Yeah, and to be honest, like after after a few weeks after the tournaments and after SCS, I feel like nowadays there is a visible gap. I think between between the top of Europe and the other teams, and it's good to be part of it, and it's good to maybe lead the charge. I think that's what we do right now. So
What's the mindset after you win? Obviously, you've won 2 regionals now. Like, are you guys still? What's like the vibe with the team? You're still like, let's, I want to grind straight away. You're back into free play, or do you enjoy the regionals and then you have a couple days to get back into it? Like, what's the mindset?
I think we have to be careful because you don't want to do too much. You don't want to do too little. You don't want to. You don't want the success to get into your head as well. You don't want to. I don't know. There is a lot of factors at hand, and I feel like for example, this weekend we started to see the traps we could fall into. The first series we lose against K-Corp, that was not good from us, and it was not just about gameplay; it was about attitude. And when you compare the way we were coming and behaving for the first regional, and you had the guys really tense, really hyped up after each match, each regional, and then as the series went on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, things were just going so smoothly that it felt like I think we got into a mindset of like, well, I mean, we're just that much better, so obviously we're gonna win. Obviously, that's not how it works, and we have to work for it.
Hmm.
And that loss was important for us, and we have to be careful because if we slip up, teams are gonna beat us, and not just K-Cup. Liquid can beat us. They almost did. BDS can beat us. A few other teams can upset us. We have to be careful. We have to be very serious about what we do and how we approach each series. Hence why this is the whiteboard.
And
I know you said
Quadrant can beat
you
you with their new team. 2 games at least. That was the first match. To be fair, we'll let you off for the Quadrant
Wait,
five game series.
what did you say? I didn't pick up the
The new
beginning.
Quadrant team. They almost had you. Not really. They took you to 5 games. The first regional.
I mean, yeah, I mean they could have won honestly because I mean the first regional was different because
Yeah, match
there
1.
was
Yeah.
so much nerves, so much pressure out on the roster, so much expectations.
Mhm.
It was expected I mean, we expected to struggle early
Oh,
on.
actually,
So
I just realized. Yeah, before we could see, I know CJ, you've got another
Mhm.
question here, but actually, you did talk, Farah, on the main stream about the whole topic everybody wants to talk about. Did Zen live up to the hype? Did Vitality with Zen live up to the hype? And you actually
Oh,
elaborated that on the mainstream. I don't know if you want to echo what you said in post-match interview for the podcast listeners as well. Your thoughts about what Zen brought to the team and why isn't he quad flip resetting on everyone like we were told he would?
sorry, I thought you were talking to CJ. Yeah. Um, yeah, and that's something I saw as soon as the first scrim. Like I expected because I've seen him play in threes. I've seen him. I always go to the French LAN. I watch some of his tournaments. I saw him playing threes, right? But like playing in a team environment is always different. And I expected, some. I don't know. I don't know what I expected, but I didn't expect that. And as soon as the first scrim or the first couple scrim, I was like, okay. I mean, he has the mechanics, but he doesn't want to overuse them. He's just gonna do his thing and help his teammate and make them comfortable. And I'm like, yeah, okay, but like you already okay, you're way too good. Like, okay, like.
Ferra's like, but I'm supposed to tell you to do
Yeah,
that.
right. It's like I didn't have much to tell him. Oh, so okay, we're still working on stuff with him,
Yeah.
but I was like, okay, so surprised because that's not the way I expected him to play. That's not even the way Alpha and Rado expected him to play because that's not the way he plays in twos, for example. So that was just
It's not how
him.
young mechanical prodigies play. First Killer was mega criticized when he joined the league for being like, a bad teammate, making his teammates look worse. Daniel, similar thing. At random moments throughout his entire tenure with SSG, those are two players who've been compared to him, and many others as well. Lots of young mechanical players. So yeah, I agree. He doesn't really fit the category of young mechanical player trying to take over, trying to be the star, trying to be the 1v5 player.
But the thing is, he can, and he will do it on some games if the chance is there. But
Is
if
it
the
like if he
chance,
needs to, if if Alpha and Rodolson are like, okay, no, today, like Rodolson's like, I'm just own goaling. Alpha's like, I can't hit the ball.
no,
Like, please
it's
send
not,
1v5.
no, it's not that. It's even better than that. It's not because we're gonna ask him to do it. It's because the situation is gonna require to do him. Like
Okay.
if the other team leaves him space, he will use it. If they don't, which most teams, especially in Europe, they know they have to prevent him from doing stuff. So he doesn't have as much space as the other players, so he just plays around that. And if he has space, he will use it. If it doesn't, he's just gonna play with it. And that's the crazy part, right? He's not gonna try too hard, and it fits so well with the rest of the team that it just works. It works, and it's great to see. And we have still a margin of improvement. And I don't think, like, if you ask any of our player right now, none of them will say we have picked, because what we see in practice is better than that. But I will say replicating what we do in practice is probably not. It's a utopia, so we're probably never gonna reach that point. But as much as we can get close to it, we will be really good.
You don't have to go into the details, obviously. But when you're practicing, when you're scrimming, what are you guys, I guess, focusing on? Is it gameplay? Is it individual stuff? Is it like structure? Like what and how do you recognize what a good practice is or what a good scrim is? Is it results, like if you're winning the scrim, or is it if you're working on sort of certain things?
It's content. It's attitude. It's how we approach it. We try to take every practice as serious as we can. We try to win it. We try to play it as if it was a real tournament. So obviously things are going to be different, but we try to replicate as much as we can what we know, because we want to find our flaws. And once a team can challenge us, we discuss and we try to find improvements. That's pretty much all there is to it. I mean, obviously we do a little bit more, but I won't get too much into detail. But yeah, it's not as we don't go into every scrim being like, okay, we have to do exactly this, exactly that. It's just like players, they know they can adapt. They adapt really well. They do it, and if things don't work, we talk. That's the main point.
All right, I mean, fellas, I think we got what we needed. I think now is what we needed. Yeah, we got the goods there. No, but I was going to say, I think now would be a good time to go into some Patreon questions. So if you guys haven't already, be sure to join the Discord. You don't have to be a Patreon to join the Discord, but we will be taking some questions from them. And Ferra, first and foremost, the question to you is, why do you think France is such a super region in Rocket League?
But that's a very deep subject. Do I have time to answer this? Because I feel like
yeah.
Give us
No,
your
we have
Ferris,
time.
give us your
got
Ferris
all
summary, but you have as much time as you need.
I think there is a lot of reasons, and I think it comes down to three things. So first off is Kedop success and Kedop stream. The second is the four French guys that were here at the beginning, which were me, K-Dop, Ferry, and Chaussette. And the fact that we all had our respective teams that were performing well. And the third factor is Rocket Baguette, growing out of those teams and those tournaments, building a community around it. And nowadays they actually took over, and I feel like we owe a lot to them nowadays because of what they do, the events they organize. But they used, it's a bad word, but they used us and the results we were getting to grow their community, grow the French community, try to get as many eyes that they could on us four, because for a long time it was only us four, which were I repeat, Chaussette, me, Ferry, and K-Dop in LCS for a very long time. And a lot of players, I guess a lot of new players, got inspired by that, especially by K-Dop, because he was winning more than us. He won Worlds, and he was streaming, and his stream got pretty big at one point when the
Huge.
free,
Still is, yeah.
especially when the free-to-play came around. And for a long time, his stream was like the hanging out point of like the French community, where the French players, they would get there and they tried to get into his lobby, and even Monkey Moon admitted it last year when he was world champion. And you can find a tweet. He's like,
No way.
he's saying, I owe you like 30% of my career or something, because I became good because I wanted to be in your lobbies and snipe you. And that's the
That's
truth. And a
amazing.
lot of players have been like that.
That's actually crazy. I saw another tweet from him recently. He says he's trying to D-rank to snipe Kid up. So he's still going to this day.
Yeah, and Rado still snipes K-Ups and does sometimes. He scored a crazy pinch with him yesterday. It's like they all want to be around him and I don't know. Sometimes it's bully him. Sometimes it's make have fun.
Why
with him.
are they
Okay.
calling every bad shot a dop shot? Why are they doing it
No,
like this?
no.
Not
It's
fair.
not. It's not a bad shot.
Is it a zero aerial shot? Wait, what is it again?
No.
Remind me.
I mean, a
forgot
dub shot.
clearly.
A dub shot is like a huge booming shot. It's like,
Oh, really?
when you go
respect.
when you talk corner one shot, it's
Oh,
a
so
dub
they're
shot.
using it as a joke. I've seen it used for so many of the opposite, like a ball trickling into the goal, and all the French viewers are
I
typing
mean,
dop shots. That must be in jest that they're saying, yeah, that's
Well,
obviously a really
well,
fast
well,
goal.
I
What a
mean,
bullet.
we our team do use it a lot in comms when they're like mid top shot, and the ball goes top corner.
That's incredible.
Oh, I like it.
It's like you pay respect.
You pay
respect.
respect.
So it's like saying like Kobe when you shoot something into the rubber.
Yeah,
can or something, like
exactly.
it's
Exactly.
dop shot, bang. I
It's
love
crazy how you say like so many people stream sniped him and like they just wanted to get into his lobbies and like play against him, and because they have that respect for him. But like my experience with stream sniping is like people just going in and harassing me and like
Yeah, but-
that's like the typical experience for stream snipers.
It's
But
not, this
K-Dop's
isn't
like,
about you, Rizzo.
they're like yes, I gotta do his lobby, my hero. Time to make him proud.
Yeah, but K-Dub doesn't like K-Dub's behavior with that is so like he doesn't care about it, and he was always chill with it, and like people kept going at it, and they were like pretty respectful with it. They were just trying to go into his lobby and beat him. That was just the main point. And for a long time, and that was it. But then he inspired a lot of new players. And then Vitality came along, the whole fan base came along, and then nowadays everything kind of follows up to that. So like now Carmine Corp is there, and there is this huge rivalry. There is Rocket Bike has grown a lot, so they can throw huge events, and there is all of those new French players that are taking over and that are pretty much following our footsteps back then, and I think they're mostly here because they've seen the tournaments back then. They're mostly here because they tried to snipe Kid Up, and they got inspired because this guy won Worlds 3 times. Well, why not them? And nowadays it's just I don't know. It's a whole a whole culture around try harding and being good and French player we're pretty good at it, but the fact that we had the inspirations and the system around it helped, and the fact that we are a pretty tight community, especially at the beginning. For a long time every pro was hanging in only one Discord, the Mood Gang. Nowadays there is a few other Discords, but yeah, we were just hanging with each other and playing with each other all the time. And I think you can actually find this behavior in some other communities. I think the KSA
KSA do it, UK do it as well.
the Spanish boy do it as well. And I feel like it's good because you're try to
they're all bringing each other up, yeah.
But Frenchies are weird with that because they want, like, you want to bring everyone up, but you want to be the one ahead of everyone as well.
It's competitive.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like
super. It's actually like, it's not. I wouldn't say toxic, but
it's healthy.
It isn't always friendly, I'll say, and I feel like a lot of these communities not always friendly, but there's definitely a respect there as well.
Yeah, everyone wants.
It's fine for me. It's in the game. There's competitiveness in the game, definitely like close to toxicity, but it's everything I see is like very much. They're talking about gameplay here, nothing personal. So
everyone wants everyone to do good, but everyone wants to be the one who do the most good. So yeah, sometimes it does feel a bit unhealthy because it does feel like, as a player, and I've been through it, right? I was in this in those shoes. As a player, you feel like your worth is just valued as your individual ability on Rocket League. Just you're just gonna. Everybody's gonna talk to you on those Discord because you're good at Rocket League, so they can play with you. And then if you're not good anymore, it's weird. And I think it's a bit unhealthy. But to be good at Rocket League, I guess that's what it takes.
I was gonna say, at the time, like when you were still competing, were there those French Discords like that at that time, or is that more of a newer thing?
The Moot Gang, Rizzo, the Moot Gang.
Yeah, the Mood Gang. That's
do you remember Mout?
Yeah, I know Mout.
Yeah, Mout.
Yeah, that's been a thing for 6 years.
Oh, okay. I'm not French. I'm not in the club, so I don't know.
It's been a thing for a very long time, and French players have always, try to hang out as much as possible with each other, and a lot of them are really close friends. I mean, Zen and Exotic are extremely close. And there is like a lot of pairs like that in the French community, and they're not necessarily teaming up with each other, right? Like me and Itachi have known each other for like 6 years. Itachi and Alpha, same. It's just, everyone knows each other very well. Everyone has played thousands of games with each other. Everyone has tried to beat everyone, and it just made everyone being better.
Okay, here's a bit of an opposite side sort of question. What are your thoughts on the Vitality decal in the esports shop?
Who's asked that?
You can only say one thing.
It's great.
All right. What is your favorite French dish? Good answer.
No, I mean, so my personal opinion is I like risk taking in terms of design. So I don't mind the Vitality decal.
They took a big risk. Yep.
I get a lot of people don't like it.
Do you know what though?
Tastes.
Let me tell you something. If Zen plays with the decal and back his mods whatever he wants. I mean, all the pros are using back his mod to have a different decal or different wheels or whatever, boosts or whatever. If he plays with the decal and they win, it will skyrocket. I don't know why all orgs aren't making every player play with their own decal. Every org, not just Vitality. I'm talking to all orgs here. Don't know why it's not on the contract, and then they back his mod whatever they want. Like, what's going on with this? Come on. So free.
Yeah. I mean, Vitality really wants to do that, but the players have like this weird placeable thing.
Oh, don't tell me they're placebo about back his mod, bro. This thing is like.
Hey, what can I say?
Zero RAM. Nothing.
I'm on your side with that. I don't understand, but like the players do feel something different, and it's placebo. So what can you say? It's all right.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
All right,
Back to not placebo.
talk to me, Ferra. Tell me about your favorite French dish. If I were to go to France right now, what should I try?
I don't eat French cuisine, really.
You don't eat French
Does
cuisine?
it
What
also-
do you
Like
eat?
my, I mean, if you want to talk about like snails and frog, I've never like had those, so I don't know.
Snails are. I've tried snails.
No,
are really
actually,
good, actually. Snails are
so,
excellent. Escargot.
okay. The French. I mean, it is French. Do you know the raclette? Have you
Wait,
heard of it?
No idea.
I don't think so.
Raclette.
How do you,
Type it
now,
in
how do you?
Discord.
Yeah,
Type it
yeah.
in Discord.
I know you're saying
Thank you.
pikelets,
Said it.
and I really like those.
Oh
it's
yes,
like,
yes.
Yeah, it's a lot of cheese with you put a
Oh,
lot
this
of
looks
cheese on
phenomenal.
like meat and potatoes and
This looks
it's
absolutely brilliant.
it's great and it's like pretty cultural thing to do in during the winter. It's a specialty from like the Alps, I think.
Ah.
I've actually had this before.
It's great.
It's
But
alright.
do you
It's
like-
alright.
You just say you don't eat French cuisine. You eat baguettes, surely.
Yeah, I eat baguettes.
This is pretty French cuisine. I mean, obviously they're pretty
But,
international, but
I mean-
they're known as, French.
I eat, but I eat sometimes, but it's not really something I watch my diet like I've watched my diet like for the past 3 or 4 months, and bread is not something
Yeah,
I
bread.
eat regularly. It's not good. So.
Oh, that's rough. You're really cutting out a lot of like pastries and croissants and
I
baguettes
don't-
when you skip bread. What a disaster.
Yeah, it's fine. I've had enough in my younger years. So.
And many, many more to come when the diet is no longer needed. When he says diet is the thing of the past. Give me the
I
bread.
remember we had Korean barbecue once, so Ferra. Was that in Leipzig? I'll say Leipzig, but that's not true. I don't think it was Leipzig.
It's probably in LA. in
Vegas. I'm going to raise you Vegas.
Vegas, maybe. We had a Japanese one in
Montreal.
Montreal.
Yep.
And they're all
Alpha
great.
54 would not
I
eat
love
a
them.
cabbage. No, he wouldn't eat a broccoli. I
I remember us going to.
I told
was
him if
it
he ate that
Japanese?
broccoli, I'll pay for his dinner. He tried and he couldn't eat it. He actually like threw up in his mouth and then put
Yeah.
it back in his plate.
That's crazy.
He
That's
couldn't do
crazy.
it. But I think he eats broccoli now, so he's a changed man.
Yeah, he's got better with food, and we try to push players to eat clean.
It was a delicious. It wasn't just like a random piece of rubbish
Yeah,
broccoli. It
like-
was like delicious broccoli. It was
I mean, that
covered in,
restaurant
smothered
was
in butter. Oh,
amazing.
so
That
good.
restaurant was amazing.
It really was. Yeah.
All right, I got another question from one of our patrons here. Actually, I got 2 questions. I'll start off with, I guess, what a little bit more of a negative one first, but the other one's very nice. So prepare yourself. What was the reason to why you stopped competing after RLCS X? What was your reason for stepping down?
All right. Because I did not. It's gonna be a bit deep, I feel. I did not like the game anymore. That was the main reason. That's why I think for the past.
Me and CJ both go, yep.
Yeah.
Felt that.
For the like last 2 years of my career, I struggled with motivation, with practicing, with. I mean, I liked scrims, I liked tournaments, but launching the game and playing ranked and practicing was so hard and so tough mentally that after a while it just became. It's just a thing, I didn't want to do this that much longer. But then, I still my team disbanded, and I had options. It was a conscious decision to stop playing, but I took a 1-week break, and I did not miss the game one single second. I was like, there is no way I want to come back to a team and grind the whole year and do this for another year. It's too much. It's too much effort, and I don't want to farm salaries. I don't want to be on a team and not make the effort. I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to be on a team and not put in the work and try to act, try to pretend like I do. If I'm on a team, I'll do my part, and I was not ready for that anymore. And also because I mean those were the minor reasons, but yeah, the later part of my career was pretty tough to live mentally. It just felt like I was not playing for not a lot of people, you know. A lot of people wanted me gone, to be honest. I kept getting messages all the time, like people really did not like watching me play, and it did get to me, honestly. You know, it's not nice when you go to, like, sometimes I would even reach the finals of on our regional, and I would still get messages from like, oh, they could have done so much better with someone else, and you're like, dude, like, let me enjoy this one at least.
That's crazy. That's actually crazy to hear.
And yeah, that was
You guys actually finished strong. You had a really rough RLCS season X. I remember because there was high expectations for you going in, and then fall and winter didn't go too well. But spring, last split was your best one. You made a final in one of the regionals.
So
you went out on a high. Like, what are people on about?
Yeah, and you want to know the season we had with, you know, Oxygen and Solari back then is pretty similar to what we have with Vitality now. We really struggled in the beginning of the season, which is what happened with Vitality, and then we slowly ramped up. And I feel like the experience I got as a player back then really helped our squad this year, and that fixed a lot of issues quicker than I lived through 2 years ago.
Wait, did you say that your experience back then helped with this season?
Yeah.
I think
because,
I caught out there. Yeah.
So yeah, because I mean, pretty much the same happened. You know, 2 years ago, the regionals were a bit different. At the beginning of the season, there were like 32 teams.
Yeah.
And for the first two regionals, we didn't even place top 16. So it's not even one regional; it's two regionals where we would not have qualified to one regional this season. You know, so yeah, we had an even tougher start, and it took us a long time to realize what we needed to do to improve. And I used that this season to fix everything as soon as possible, and that's what we did. And we did bounce back very, very quickly from the non-qualification, and now we're fine. We are really fine. But yeah, to come back on the subject, it was really hard mentally because I just asked myself, what even am I playing for nowadays? And it was money. I didn't really need money anymore. No one really liked watching me play. And the only thing I lacked in my career was getting the World Championship title. Everything apart from that, I got. Like, I won lands, I took part to worlds, I traveled around the world, I did everything I could. I won the European Championship. It's just
you dethroned K-Dop, actually. You did what all of K-Dop snipers wanted to do. You beat him not only in his game, you beat him in his like 5 EU champion in a row streak. You ended it.
The one thing I was missing was the World Championship title, and I was like, is this even worth, like, putting my everything into it, even though I don't even know if I will be able to reach it, because it could be out of my control. So I was like,
well, Ferra, I don't know what people wanted from you. I'm pulling up the stats right now. If your grand final appearance against Queso in Spring Regional 2 of RLCS Season X, you're a 75% goal participant and top assists in the team. What do they want? What do the people want? Like, do they want air roll? No, you just get assists. I want assists. I don't care about air roll.
If it means anything to you, Ferra, I loved watching you play, and I want to see you play more.
I was so happy to see the regain.
Obviously, I loved it.
I love you guys.
I was so happy to see the regain in RLCS Season X. I was your guys, like, what do you call it?
Yeah, I know
streamer?
Yeah, that was.
I was like, so I was rooting for you guys the whole season. You finally did it in spring. I was so happy for you to make top 6, make the EU championships. If there had been a world championship in RLCS Season X, you would have qualified for it. So
yep.
Yeah, I think you guys went out in a high, and then you said, "This is it. I'm retiring." That was like retiring at the top, in my opinion. Well done.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't want to pursue and leave on a bad note. I feel like that was as high as it could get, and it's okay. I didn't win worlds. It's fine. I'm really proud of what I've done in my career, and I'd rather have my career than a few other world champions that
And now you can
have
win
only
worlds.
that title. You know.
You can
All
win
right, you
worlds as
don't
a
have
coach,
to call
Ferra.
them out.
You can win worlds as a
Exactly.
coach. This is
Yeah, I can win
you
worlds.
wanted to leave
That's
something unchecked, or
that's
else you would never have
exactly.
come back. Now you've come back,
that's
because
the
if you
goal.
won worlds, you would never have
That's
come
the
back.
goal.
We'd never see Ferra again, but now we get to see him again. So thank goodness for that.
That's the goal, and hopefully as soon as in 3 months.
Exactly. So I believe that everything happens for a reason, Fair. I don't know if you believe in that as well, but even when, at the time you're thinking, oh, I wish I did this, wish I did that, I think you look back on it and go, well, if this didn't happen, if I didn't retire, then you wouldn't be in this position now, you wouldn't have the vitality gig and potentially, could be the coach of a super team or one of the most iconic rosters in Rocket League history. So
No,
I
maybe,
think it's
but
pretty cool.
to be honest, I don't regret anything. I don't regret,
Yeah.
doing anything in my career. It's just, it's life. Something happens, stuff happens. Some people sometimes they don't like you for some reason. That's fine. What happened. It's just, yeah, I just needed to move on. And I will also add, I think it's important. I'm old. I'm not old, In real life, I'm not
Yeah,
old.
esports old.
For Rocket League, I'm so old, and I was old
How old are you?
my whole career. So I will turn 27 this year.
Damn, that's old, man.
Rizzo, what age did you just start? Rizzo, like sneaky birthday McGee over here.
I'm 26. I'm young and spry.
You're both the same age.
But like, do you agree with that? It's just like the Rocket League scene got younger.
So
When I started, the pros were like Maki, Gremco, everyone pretty much around my age.
Yeah,
And my friends back then were like Ferry and K-Dub, who are only 2 years younger. Nowadays, they're considered like grandpas, and they're like 5 years older than all the new players. And
yeah.
Zen
Yeah.
is 11 years younger than me. Like,
Zen was like, how old was Zen
It's
when Rocket
crazy.
League launched? He would have been 7.
That
or
one hit
something,
me.
or
Oh
8.
my god.
like
8 years old.
and that's what I thought
8.
as well, like 2 years ago, when I was like,
9?
do I keep going, and do I want to
8.
like, if I'm gonna team with like 2 people, they're obviously gonna be younger than me. Do I want to spend the whole year
You're
with
the
like
dad.
with like 2 16
With
years
the
old?
absolute zoomers.
I
Watching
not
agree though.
TikTok
really,
videos
Like
all day.
you're on a different intellectual plane. You're on you've lived more life than them. It's hard to
Almost
it's
a
hard to
two.
like
CJ coping.
outside of playing though. It's hard to like
No, but like, yeah,
know.
if you want to grow as a person, and that's pretty much been my goal the past 2 years, you have to, be surrounded by, people a bit more mature than kids.
Yeah.
And well, obviously I say that, but my team is still kids. But yeah, working with Vitality has helped.
No, wait,
and,
Alpha's
there is a
pretty
lot
old,
of.
though. How old is Alpha?
He's like
He's
19.
19.
He's
He's
like top
19.
10. The crazy
Oh,
thing is,
yeah.
Alpha's like one of the 10
Top 10
oldest
oldest.
players who qualified for
It's
the last event. And he's
stupid.
19 years old. I was
Last
actually
Worlds,
blown
I was
away.
the oldest player there.
You were the oldest player. That's insane.
That's when I knew my time was up.
Now,
Once you get on that list, you're done.
Yeah, but I feel like the lists will get slightly
It will get-
older
it has to get older,
in the next couple years, next 3 years, because I think the current players at the top, the Zens, the Vachiras, they will stay around for a while, and
think so, yeah.
and yeah, the current generation will stick around, and yeah, we will see players being like 23, 24, still performing. But man, nowadays it's really tough because you have to live the whole year with like 2 players who are like 10 years old, younger than you, and it's.
Can you guys
it's
believe?
tough.
I couldn't believe it when I saw Scrub Killer was 20. That really made me feel so old. You guys have no idea. The reason is there was a LAN called Supernova Invitational. Rizzo was actually there as a player, and Scrub Killer got voted in as one of the players, and he wasn't going to be able to go because his parents couldn't go with him, and he couldn't fly by himself. I think he was 13 at the time. But I was going as a caster, and I'd met his dad at a couple of other LANs. I said, well, actually, I'm going. If he wants to go, I could go. I could be his guardian, and he could just fly with me. We fly from the same airport anyway. I thought they were going to say no. You idiot. Alan and his dad had only met me a couple of times, but they were like, "Yeah, that's fine." So I just met his parents at the airport. I was like,
Go on,
"I'll
then.
take you from here, right? You come with me to New York." We went to the lad. He was 13, and now he's 20. I'm like, "What happened? What happened to like 7 years? Where did all that go? It doesn't make any sense."
It's crazy. I realized like I started my post graduation school like almost 10 years ago, and it's crazy to me. It's crazy to me.
All right, well,
Time
let's
I'm
talk.
pretty much
fly
like
back.
Scrubs. I am for chat asking right. Yeah, I'm pretty much his his second dad. Yeah, I've been legally. Pretty sure that's how it works.
All right, let's stop feeling sorry for ourselves. No more old people humor. Ferra, tell me. This is actually a question for me. I want to know, what was your favorite moment from your pro career? What was the highlight? What was the most memorable thing for you?
I think the qualifying for my first Worlds and the way we did it was the high in terms of emotions. Because I was a rookie, I didn't expect to be at Worlds, and we just made it in unbelievable fashion. So that was, in terms of emotion, like something I will always remember, and because that was my first time as well. And then obviously, winning the two LANs we did, the DreamHack Leipzig and DreamHack Valencia. Those are
So
like
beating Rizzo.
beating Rizzo, especially. I mean, the games were like crazy. We tied it up with like 10 seconds left, and we
remember
won
that.
the game in overtime.
Don't remember that.
And also, you
I
retired Fireburner. Fireburner, all
Yeah.
you couldn't let him win one. You couldn't just let him have it.
No.
Or was that just
Nah.
Shawset's idea? Was he like, actually, no, I've got this new card, it's the Fennec, you're gonna love it. Like, you should see what I can do in this thing.
Yeah.
Fireburner, sorry, bro.
We just said, okay, let's just Fennec this thing and run out of it. Yeah, but like those two were like huge memories. I mean, it's the easy answer, but that's the truth as well. It's like the weekend, especially the Valencia weekend. I have so many good memories from there. I have also like really good memories from BTS. I think those were like the good events. I don't have as many good memories from like Worlds, unfortunately, because I never really performed there. I have good memories from the after parties, but that's
No, genuinely, Farah, I hate to say it, but also I don't hate to say it at the same time. You were one of the players I really wanted to lose, like at Worlds, because I was like, oh, every time you get eliminated, I was like,
Incredible.
brilliant. Farah, like
Ferra
an actual
can drink
human.
the house down.
A
Cordial, of
human
course.
is eliminated from the tournament, so we can hang out together. That's amazing, and I don't even have to feel bad. Like, but I have to actually go back. You said very briefly there. I'm gonna like tell you guys what happened because Farah doesn't want to blow his own trumpet too much. When he says that they qualified for season 3 as first RLCS LAN in dramatic fashion, what he means is that they reverse swept a team called. You guys might know. You might have heard of them. Gale Force Esports to qualify for LAN. Yeah, that's right. K-Dub Turbo Panda reverse swept them to qualify.
You got
Easy
it wrong.
peasy.
You got it wrong. You got it wrong. It was the first roster of Gale Force.
Oh wait, was it the Panda? Was it the Panda Pashi one?
Yep,
Oh no! Don't tell me you. Don't tell me you reverse swept Shawset, bro. Oh no, that's even worse.
And that was so we were so this season we reverse swept Flipside. We beat Northern Gaming in 5. We reverse swept the Elot team. I think it was like Resonant or something.
Yeah.
And then we reverse swept for the one series we had to win to make top 2. So Pocket Aces.
Also, it was Pocket Aces.
It was called Pocket Aces back then, and it was the roster that got to the finals the season before, and they replaced Devo with Shawset, and they didn't make Worlds. So Shawset was like, in a really bad spot because he was like he was brought to the team and they underperformed so hard, and then he was feeling really bad about it. And then I got kicked, and then we just found each other. We were like, all right, we're in a tough situation, both of us. Let's just make a team.
Was that a bit awkward that you're like, I'm really sorry about that, like elimination there. But yeah, I think we could be really good teammates actually. So many reverse sweeps is crazy though. How on earth did you reverse sweep so many teams? I couldn't believe it.
I don't know.
3 reverse sweep, 3 best of 5 reverse sweeps. You only played 7, just for anyone who didn't watch season 3. There were only 7 series in the entire league play. You had 3 reverse sweeps out of 7 series.
Yeah, and like I think like all of our wins came in game 5 or something. I don't know. I think
It
like
was
back
absurd.
then, and I think Rizzo and CJ, you can confirm that the series were much more like nerve-wracking than they are now because you only had 7, and you had the promotion tournament, or like not even that in the early seasons, but like
Yeah.
afterwards you had that, and you knew if you're not in the main league, if you're not in the FCS league, you're pretty much done for.
Yep.
So all of the series are there's so much on the line, so much on the line.
Do you want to know a
and,
crazy
yeah.
stat? Actually, you guys won 5 of your 7 series, but your game score is 17-16. So your win percentage in games is 52%, even though you won 5 series to 2. So you guys were just like game 5 ice, and then
We
every
were
time you did
so
lose, you're getting
clutch. We were so
swept.
clutch. We were so clutch.
Amazing.
It was
What a
it was
run.
crazy back then because you'd practice a whole week to play one best of 5. So you might just play 3 games, and it's like, okay, we'll do the
That's
same thing
incredible.
next week. So much pressure.
All right, I got one final question for the podcast here. It's from our patron, Royal Rights. He says, "Does Ferra think it's still possible to have one team dominate across multiple seasons like old Dignitas did? Can Vitality become a dynasty like that, or is it too competitive these days?"
It's really hard because as soon as there is one team dominating, the other are trying to catch up as fast as they can, and it's really hard. I think BDS showed that it's maybe possible because they've dominated the season X and they've won World the season afterwards. So they didn't win both seasons. Technically, Vitality didn't win season X, but BDS won everything else that season. And they kept going into the winning mode the season afterwards. So it's possible to go across multiple seasons, but you need to be so much better than everyone that it's really hard. It's really, really hard. Is it possible for us? Maybe. Right now we're not dominating the region. I mean, we are, but for 2 weeks. So let's see how it goes. In the next 3 months, what we can do in 2 weeks, what we can do at the major, what we can do at Worlds. If we do great, the goal is obviously going to be to build out on that and to keep running it up next season.
Fair enough.
Oh, yeah.
All right, I think that's gonna do it. CJ, Johnny, any more questions?
I just had one more thing to add. That would be I reckon if you guys can win a LAN, two RLCS LANs with the same roster, 6 months apart, that's the same RLCS dominance as at least RLCS LAN dominance that the famous Dignitas roster had. As long as you make another grand final 6 months later, so it's a calendar year, 2 wins, 1 grand final, and you've matched Dignitas. That's the goal now, because obviously the format's changed, but
yeah,
possible. That's all I want to say.
Most kind of did it last season, but
they got a grand final, and they got a grand
taste,
final, then a win, and then they didn't make. If they can make that Worlds run,
If they won Worlds,
that would be comparable. But yeah, Furia got them, so not quite. Then yeah, they all blew up the roster. So
I mean, BDS won the fall major and then won Worlds. A bit different roster, but still same core of the team. So I don't know. I feel like
back would be.
I feel like BDS showed it's somewhat possible. But Rocket League is so volatile in terms of performance that eventually one team is going to take over for like at least one split. It's really hard. It's really, really hard. But we will try to be as dominant as we can if we are dominant.
I just want to say, Ferra, firstly, obviously, shout out to the patrons for those questions. They were fantastic. But Ferra, I was so sad when I saw the retirement post, the tweet longer. I was very sad, but because and the first thing I thought was I really hope that you just find a way to stay involved in the Rocket League, in the community. And obviously, you had a little bit of a break, and then you found yourself back on your feet coaching, and it's fantastic that you're still in there. I love being able to see you with the whiteboard up. I don't know what you're writing on there. I don't know what the secrets are, but I love seeing the cameras before the game and you're standing up there. I don't know if Zen's listening or he's just sitting there looking at the floor in those pre-game speeches, but it's fantastic that you're still involved and obviously now have a chance to really will perhaps create history or at least be involved in some pretty good success.
Yeah, I'll be honest. It was really close for you guys to never see me again. Like, if I didn't have,
Oh my God.
really good opportunity, I would have gone the total opposite direction. But Vitality came along, and I'm here now. I don't know if I'm here to stay for very very long time, but
Stay,
but
Ferra,
yeah.
stay. Your
Please.
English is so good for a French person.
For a French person,
We can't talk to any of them. You're the only one.
You can translate for us.
the French standard for English speaking is so low that my English looks good, but it's not good. It's
Your
not
English
good.
It is
great.
good.
It's
It is
perfect.
good.
It's
Perfect.
not good. Come on, guys.
It's very good. Very good.
I'm not lying. I don't know if Johnny is, but I'm not lying. I think your
No,
English is very
I'm
good.
dead serious. Your English is perfect. I don't
Yeah.
know why you're being so hard. French
Literally
people are very
perfect,
harsh
yeah.
on themselves when it comes to their English. They don't think they're good English. Listen, Ferra
But
said
I
your
mean,
English is
I
perfect.
I listen to Europeans, not native English speakers, talking English all the time, and they're better than me. I can see it. They have better accent. They have better, have a better way with words
There's
than
no
I
such
do.
thing as
Your
better
accent is
There's no such thing
literally
as better.
perfect. It is sexy. I want your
Yeah.
accent.
The
That
sexy
sounds
French
terrible.
accent.
I'm a bogan Australian. I want the little French
No, yeah.
twang. It's nice.
But yeah, right. I'll say, right now I'm here. Let's see what happens, and I hope we'll win well. To be honest.
I hope you're happy, Ferra. So I hope.
Oh
That's all
yeah,
I
right now,
hope
I'm
you're
happy. We keep winning, so.
Yes. As long as Ferra's happy, I'm happy.
All right. Well, I hope you stick around after you guys win Worlds inevitably. But thank you, everybody, for watching Chalkcast number 41. If you guys missed any part of it, it'll be on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube, which I will tweet out links a little bit later. Actually, not later, probably tomorrow once those are up. Special thank you to all of our patrons out there. Patreon.com/Chalkcast, helping support the Chalkcast, of course, all the endeavors that we're going to get into, and supporting a team that we're still in debt to.
We are heavily in debt.
We're still paying that off, but yeah, thank you so much to Pharaoh for joining us, CJ and Johnny for co-hosting. We appreciate you guys, and we hope you all have a great night. Bye-bye.
Good night.